Joseph, can you say test?
Test.
Wait, battery.
Have you unmuted your computer? No. Keep your audio here. No. The whole audio of your computer. Speakers, headphones.
I'm trying to learn everything so I can verbalize it. It takes longer, but then now we're like.
You're good to go.
And then you get lost, and you're like, oh, here's my end point. Yeah, I don't. I'd rather just. There's a mountain road that serves. It is. I think it's pretty good. Questions?
Hello. We are live. Okay.
Are we live?
Are we live? Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Joseph Nguyen. I am your Assembly Rec President. Hello to everyone online. We are doing a town hall today, and we are supposed to start off with some introductions. So, Pamela, why don't you start? Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay. Hi there, I'm Pamela Malik. I am a first-year Vice President of Student Affairs, and I am a fourth-year sociology major. When I'm not advocating for students, I could be found cuddling with my two cats, Sally and Susie. I like taking long walks on the beach at midnight. I also like frolicking in the woods during the daytime. Is this the wrong audience? Sorry. I also think I'm very funny.
I also think she's very funny. Hi, everybody. I'm Tara Cardinal. I'm the Vice President of External for SAMR this year. I am also a second-year policy student and a previous graduate of our social work diploma program.
Hi everyone, my name is Joseph. I am in education. I finished my first year. I did Vice President of Student Affairs, and now I am the Assembly President. It's good to see people here. It's good to see people online. Well, I can't see you, but it's good to talk to people online. And I'm excited to be here.
Hi everybody, my name is Yasmin Ahmed and I'm your Vice President Academic. This is my second year being your Vice President Academic, so I'm excited to be here and share these important updates with you guys.
Thank you. Okay. So we have some updates for you folks before we do our Q&A session. We have Yasmin starting us off with some updates on grades and exams.
Okay, awesome. So everybody listen up because this stuff is relevant to you. So last year at the General Faculty Council, which is the highest academic decision-making body at the institution, we as your student association representatives voted to approve the new grades and examinations policy. So in this policy, many important updates were made. So for critical dates, so as you guys are probably aware, the withdrawal date has been permanently extended to the last day of classes. That's a huge win for students. Okay, so it's also important to note these important deadlines. By November 10th, you're right as a student to get 25% of your overall grade back from your professors. And by December 9th, you should have at least 50% of your grade back. So if you don't, please connect with your professor and with your chair. And if you need help with this, you can reach out to the SAMR Student Advocacy Resource Center, and they should be able to help you. So the next important update is that there's a new grade symbol for students, and it's AE, which stands for AgroTat. It's a new non-credit symbol being added, and it means that a student couldn't complete their course due to reasons outside of their control. So basically for compassionate reasons. And it counts as a passing grade, and it doesn't count to your GPA. So if you need this, connect with your faculty, with your professor, and they should be able to help you, or your chair if need be. And once again, you can reach out to SAMU Student Advocacy Resource Center, and they should be able to help you. So the last update for academics is really, really important. So it's the digital learning resources update. So there's been changes made to the grades and examinations policy that SAMU has heard from many complaints from many students that you guys hate having to purchase resources for your classes to complete quizzes or tests on top of your tuition fees. So we took those complaints and we advocated on your behalf to MRU. And this resulted in a huge win for students. So the grades policy has a new has a new section now called the Digital Learning Resources section. And it allows your profs to still require digital learning resources, but these resources can't exceed over $100, and they must be communicated to students at the time of registration. But that's still money, right? We're still losing money. So if you want, you can still have a no-cost option available for you. So you just need to connect to your prof, and you need to opt out of it. And they have to make an alternative for you that will not harm you in any way and still be able to give you a grade that you would deserve with the same other resource. So what's the process? At the beginning of the course, you must first inform your instructor that you want to opt out, and then the faculty has to give an alternative. It's simple as that. And if you need help, you can reach out to SAMU SARC, the Student Advocacy Resource Center. And that is all for academic updates.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I paid for like an hour for this chem class that you and I took. Yeah, and it's like $100 something, $120. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Next up is me. I'll be talking about LMS, which is Learning Management Systems. You may have noticed that we recently transitioned from Blackboard to D2L. You're welcome, and I'm sorry. Some people hate it, some people love it. So you're welcome, I'm sorry. Our last president, Spirit River Treadwell, and myself, we were involved in the transition. Spirit did lots of work on the decision of whether to go with Blackboard or to go to D2L. And on my end, when I was transitioned into the president role, I did lots of work on developing its features. One of the features D2L provides is a plagiarism detection software called Turnitin. Turnitin is the software where you write you write an essay and you submit it, and then it'll give you a percentage on how much of it is plagiarized or how much of it is from other people's work. So one vital detail with Turnitin is that I need every student here to know is that you have the opportunity to opt out. So if you do not want if you don't want your professor using Turnitin on you, if you personally don't want to use it, you have the right to opt out without a reason. So how does it work? It works that at the start of the class, you tell your professor, hey, I don't want to use Turnitin. I would like to opt out of it. And you don't have to provide a reason at all. And your professor has to work with you on that. If you don't want to opt out, that's okay. I need every student here to know that you can use Turnitin functions before you submit your essay / assignment. Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's wow. So when I was in my first year education class, I submitted an essay, and then I accidentally plagiarized because I did a quote wrong, and I didn't know that I was supposed to do it that way. I was in my first year. However, the good news is that you don't have to have this fear anymore, because Turnitin can be an advantage to you. So you actually have the right to use it before you submit your assignment, and instead of being afraid, you can use it. I'm repeating myself. If you don't know how to do this, ask your professor how to do this. Your professor should know how to do this, and they should be able to help you. Okay, that is all for the LMS and Turnitin. Next, I have to talk about the budget. Some people are like, ooh, budget, boring, or difficult to understand, hard to read, numbers, Excel sheets. And I agree. I agree. The MOE budget has been developed by our very own Tara Cardinal here and Yasmin Ahmed. They were part of something called TFCC, which stands for Tuition, Fees, and Consultation Committee. And one of my goals is to increase budget awareness, but also so that students will be able to know where the money goes. So that you pay these tuitions, you pay lots of fees, but you don't really get to wonder. You only get to see like a nice infographic or a pie chart indicating where your money goes. What can I tell you? I can tell you that MOE has an operating budget of $213 million. Students contribute $85 million to it, making about 40% of that budget. Where does the other 60% come from? It comes from grants from the government of Alberta. It comes from sales, from parking bookstores, etc. It comes from what's called ancillary services, which generate revenue as well. And then that's basically the 60%. And then also comes from donors. What are the primary expenses of MOU? Well, there's instruction, obviously. You have to pay the faculty, you have to pay for the buildings, for the lights. There's institutional support, which is like marketing and communication, HR, administration, financial services. There's ancillary services, which we talked about. And there's also the facilities, so the lights, the water, the sewage, the maintenance, the cleaning. That goes to the fees pay for that. SAMRU right now is working very hard with MRU to simplify hard-to-read budget information into digestible information. Let us know what parts of the MRU budget you would like to see on this simplified document, or what questions you have about the budget. I will do our best to follow up with you with the answers you're looking for. That's all from myself, and now we're transitioning to Tara.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to talk to you about the 3 levels of government and the organizations that SAMRU is a part of. So when it comes to advocating for students, what most people agree on and what we have found, especially at SAMRU, is we cannot advocate to all 3 levels of government just on our own. We need to have our combined voice with the other universities and the other post-secondary education within Alberta and Canada if we actually want to affect real change. The good thing about this is we are part of 3 organizations. For municipal, we're part of the Calgary Student Alliance, which helps to work on transit issues, UPass, and stuff that's affecting Calgary students in town specifically, as well as we're part of CAUSE, which is the Council of Alberta University Students. This organization focuses on 5 universities in Alberta, and we advocate to the provincial government, including the Minister of Advanced Education, to ensure that we're fighting for loans and grants and proper payments to programs and making sure that everybody can comfortably live and come to school without any issues. And then as well for our national advocacy, we're part of CASA, which is the Canadian Alliance of Student Associations. So I'll start with CAUSE and kind of the work we've been doing now. So this organization is a provincial student lobbying group. We will be hosting a Get Out the Vote campaign on campus this winter semester. Our goal is to provide information on candidates and the voting process until the election on May 29th. We also have early voting stations on campus to make it easier for students to vote without concern of where to go on the day of. With CAUSE as well, we are meeting with the Minister of Advanced Education once a month to bring concerns that youth students have to them so we can address it. A main concern that we have right now that we are really trying to push forward to Minister Nicolaides is the fact that inflation and rise in living costs is making it so that students have to choose between tuition, food, and housing, and that is absolutely not okay. The work I have done with Nicolaides so far has been positive, but he is willing to listen to us, and he wants us to work with him to figure out a solution that will get more money into more students' pockets. In terms of CSA, which is again the Calgary Alliance or Student Alliance, we are currently working on the UPass. We know the concerns that students, especially at MRU, have with the UPass. the opt-in, opt-out function. So for the UPass, it's a little bit complicated because it is an agreement between the institutions themselves and Calgary Transit, but it's extremely valuable to MRU students, and it really does make a difference in people's finances, especially since we're seeing less people drive to campus due to a rise in costs with inflation and especially gas prices. So currently what we're going to be doing with them is we're going to be in discussions with the institution as well as Calgary Transit to see how we can make sure that you guys get a better deal. This includes potentially lowering the cost of the UPass, advocating for more bus routes, and advocating for them to come way more frequently than they currently are. I assume a lot of you today were on Calgary Transit, and obviously there was a lot of delays. I've heard instances where a bus was 88 minutes late today, and that is unacceptable. We are not as privileged as the other universities because we are not on a transit line. So we want to make sure that when we're advocating for Mount Royal specifically, that we're advocating for a fair deal. We do not want to sign up to an agreement where we're subsidizing other universities and their students to have a UPass. So that's going to be one of our main focuses this year. In terms of CASA, we have been really focusing on international students for this term. We were able to advocate for the federal government on international students, and this has led to the federal government removing the 20-hour limit, that 20-hour working limit that students can work so that they can work more and pay for their living expenses. And also so we can help with increasing the amount of labor available in the country. We have also called on the Government of Canada to fulfill its mental health funding promise from the 2021 election, where they promised to establish $500 million for a student health fund over 4 years. This has not been done as of yet. We will be meeting with politicians in Ottawa in about 3 weeks to advocate even stronger, not only for more money in mental health funding, but also research funding, increased grant funding, which can help students deal with inflation and rising living expenses. And especially one of my focuses as the co-chair of the National Indigenous Advisory Committee is to ensure that the federal government is taking full responsibility over its treaty promises and making sure that they are funding Indigenous students as much as they need to survive. Currently, we have about 70% of our youth who want to be part of post-secondary education, but the funding can only fund about 20% of that as of right now. It is unfortunate, and it's going to be one of our big advocacy goals. So if you have any concerns in terms of advocacy to the government, you feel like they're not respecting what's happening in your life, including rising living costs, things like that, you feel like you're not being heard, please come to me. Please email representation@samru.ca so that I can advocate to you for you to these politicians.
Okay, thank you very much, Tara. Okay, and last but not least, we have Pamela Malik. Take it away.
So, I have some speaking notes here, I'm going to use them. So today I want to talk to you about health and wellness, the washroom situation, the MRU search engine, and living room letters, along with the co-curricular record, and what that can mean for you as a student of Mount Royal University right now and in your future. So with regards to health and wellness, I want to inform you that REC supports MRU's department to bring free period products into MRU washrooms. They currently stand still as we're trying to find funding for the project. I'm told it will be in excess of $150,000. And until that can be remedied, I will work with health and wellness on an interim solution. So you may be aware that as new buildings are built and renovations are made, we've been adding gender-inclusive washrooms. That does not help in the Lincoln Park sections, which do not have adequate locations available. So I am working with MRU Student Affairs for a viable solution. When it comes to the mymru.ca search engine, as most of you should be aware, there isn't one. So I've been in discussions with Student Affairs to have this addressed, and I have been told it is not a functionality within the current MRU platform, and they are working on a long-term solution. The Living Room Letters project to inform on student involvement in extracurricular activities on campus that I started working on this semester is well underway, with one more week of gathering data to come, the week of November 14th to the 18th. We will be in the recreation concourse on the second floor, so please come see me with any ideas you have for campus life. Presently, I can tell you that students are happy to be back on campus to connect with other students in person. They're indicating that they are open to new relationships and friendships and would be appreciating doing things if they were suggested by another person. So if you're standing in line at Tim Hortons and you say hello to the person behind you and they say hi back, and then they say to you, I'm going to an event at such and such, they're now your friends, so you can feel welcome to join them. Our students are interested in extracurricular activities if it will be officially recognized by the university. And to that end, I want to talk to you about the co-curricular record. So a co-curricular record, if you're not familiar with the term, is an official mark on your transcript that tells the world that you are highly involved with extracurricular activities on campus with SAMRU and MRU. Grad schools and employers aware of the program want to know if you have a co-curricular record on your transcript because it tells them that the activities you have participated in have been verified to a high degree by the university. It lets them know you are more than a 4.0 GPA. You are a well-rounded individual that can be counted on to volunteer and spearhead extra activities in the office, and you have the interpersonal skills required to get a job well done. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Okay. Next, we have our quick promotion for board positions. If you'd like to become a board member, it's called the Student Governing Board. We are looking for people to sit on that. There are vacancies. I believe there are 4 positions available. Don't quote me on that. But if you'd like to, there are 5 vacancies. Wow. Yeah. And what do? They basically govern all of SAMRU. So if you want to be our bosses, then come sign up. Yeah. That's also what to do. Okay. We will now move on to our Q&A session. So the first question we have is, and actually, congratulations. So we have a student commenting on the free breakfast, and they said, congratulations on the free breakfast. It's an excellent initiative. Tamara, would you like to talk about that?
I absolutely would. So our free breakfast, that's just one aspect of some of the ways that SAMRU is promoting food security to our students. But we also have several other programs. We have the SAMRU Care Cupboards. I don't know if you've seen those, but they are around the 5 buildings around campus where you can pick up orange juice, water, yogurt. We've got personal hygiene products there. Our hope is that if you're in one of the other buildings and you're in an emergency and you want to grab something quickly, that you will do that. And when you need more, please come see us here, right at Wyckham House on the 2nd floor. Come to our peer support area where we can support you better. We also have the Peer Support Center, and we have a good food box program going on. And I keep seeing an advertisement coming up on the television in front of me, and they are doing a survey with SAMRU, and they would love for you to scan that QR code, do the survey, and you could win $500. So I just thought I'd mention that.
Perfect. And then we have another question about CASA food security initiatives. Sarah, would you like to answer that?
Yeah, absolutely. So CASA right now, and one of my big projects as Director of Policy within that organization, is to address food insecurity that is happening and is increasing more and more for post-secondary students throughout Canada. So what we're doing right now is we're doing heavy research with a lot of the institutions and stakeholders and government officials. We will be doing a publication which will be done by the end of the year that will focus on food insecurity throughout Canada. We will have recommendations to the federal government on how to address this concern in terms of grant funding. We also will have recommendations for the provincial government on how to address this concern, as well as we will also be having recommendations to post-secondary institutions themselves to figure out how they can address food insecurity on campus. What we have found when working with politicians, if we want them to make change and affect change, a lot of the times it's organizations like us, it's institutions like us that have to find the problem, do the research, and then suggest policy recommendations. So that is what we will be doing. That will be our goal for the next year and after this term as well. So you can be guaranteed that we are addressing this concern.
Perfect. And the next question is for me. It says, the Max Yellow bus route is a tragedy waiting to happen. Buses are over capacity at an unsafe rate, and nothing has been done to remedy it in the past 4 years. What will REC do about it? I can answer this. First off, thank you for your question. I understand. And I agree. I'm a fellow transit user as well, and have felt the repercussions of overcrowded buses. My bus was the one that was 88 minutes late, for example. We have seen this, and we've heard you. We've heard this before, and we have, rest assured, we are already advocating on behalf of you for this issue. We have been advocating to Jason Unchurch, who is the MOU's Director of Business Services, who is the liaison between MOU and Calgary Transit for all things transit. We will also be planning to bring this up to Courtney Walpont, the Ward 8 City Councillor. Rest assured that we are working on this and that we will keep you updated. Next, we have another question. This is for Pamela. How much are we spending on Wi-Fi, and why is it so bad across campus? Will Emily pay for my data if the Wi-Fi is not fixed?
Guess what? We hear you. We hear you and we're well aware of it. You know, we are students as well, so we are also affected by the Wi-Fi when it's intermittent. And we want to just thank you for affirming the issue. We can assure you that we will be advocating for better, more reliable internet connection for MRU students so that you can be more successful in your academics. Now, as far as paying for data, I can't speak for MRU, but we can bring up the idea of reimbursement for data to them.
Perfect. And the next question is for Tara. What opportunities or financial aid are available to international students?
Unfortunately, there is not a lot right now. Both of our organizations, provincially and federally, are working to ensure that we're taking care of our international students. Currently, the way we see it is international students are being used for profit, and we don't agree with that, especially if Alberta wants to bring good talent and increase our economy. This can no longer be something that we just accept. So currently I am advocating for more international student support within grant funding so that they don't have to worry if they can finish their semester or if they have to worry about where to live next. And again, we have thankfully raised the 20-hour working cap. So hopefully within the next couple months, I will have better news for you guys on exactly what kind of resources are available, but I would suggest to check out a website, www.educanada.ca, to look for scholarships and bursaries for non-Canadians.
Fantastic. The next questions are for me. The first question is, how will you all as a team fairly and collectively make decisions that will benefit and help students at MRU? I have a few answers to this. So as a team, we have cohesion. Every opinion and position that we all have to collectively agree on it. I'm going to say that one time. Every position that we all have to collectively agree on it. And all four of us are elected by you folks. So at the root of it all, students are making these positions. We make position statements every year. You can check them out on our website. If you search up SAMU position statements, you'll find it, or SAMU Rec position statements, you'll find it online. What are position statements? Position statements are statements that are positions. So essentially, with advocacy, we have to give an opinion. We have to take a stance on something. For example, one of our position statements is people who share traumatic experiences or experiences relating to inequity and for EDI, they have to be compensated. That's a position for us. Another position is we want students to be full of well-being and to be meaningfully consulted during consultations of tuition. That's another position. And I could go on and on, but it's all on the website. And how are these position statements created? The four of us come together. We have like 2 days, and we work on it for hours. We develop positions that we have to all agree on the position. And yeah, that's basically it. I'll talk about we have weekly team meetings. We have consistent communication with each other, and representation work is overseen by the board. So it's all controlled into this amazing system. If you'd like to learn more, you can personally reach out to me, or you can look it up online. Next question we have is, what does REC consider its biggest goal for the final few months of 2022 and the start of 2023? My answer is we actually, technically, we don't have a collective goal on paper. We have individual goals that pertain to each of our portfolios, which we did talk about the first half of the town hall. For example, co-curricular, which Tara didn't touch up too much on, and for myself, improving communications, and then improving the feedback process for Yasmin. So we all have our individual goals. I guess I could say that our collective goal and our job description is to ensure that student interests are protected and advanced locally at MRU, municipally and the government level, provincially at the government level, and federally at the government level. So that is our collective goal. That's what we do every day for you folks. Last but not least, I want to talk about the budget. I want to know about the general fee. Students have emailed us and students have contacted us about questions on the budget, and I'd like to address it really quickly. A student has stated here that they want to know more about the general fee and the capital campaign fee that they pay. Quick update on the general fee. This fee is levied each semester to provide services and representation to MRU students and to operate the Wyckham House, where we are, student center. SAMU runs a 70,000 square foot student center here and employs that to ensure that the student governing board, which is our boss, could be you, our mission to represent and serve students is done successfully and effectively. This fee is supplemented by money earned by many of the businesses. As you can see, we have food courts around that do pay rent. And also, the money is spent on dozens of SAMU student services, food and financial security services, like the free breakfast program, and the Good Food Box, and the SAMU Care Coverage, the emergency student loans and bursaries, as Pamela mentioned earlier. Academic and non-academic advocacy support, there's that as well. $100,000 in awards and bursaries each year for SAMU awards. We have social events as well. We also pay the fee goes to our salaries as well for representation advocacy work. The four of us plus membership fees to various student lobby groups, CASA and CAUSE, and CASA and CAUSE, as Tara has mentioned, administration costs, and the cost of operating Westgate Social in general, student center, the lights, the water, etc. And for the capital campaign fee, the max of this, the good news is the max to pay for this fee is $40 for full-time students and $24 for part-time students. And what does this cover? It covers. So right now, SAMU has a $13 million loan to fund a 2008 major building expansion, and any money that's left over from these payments is kept in a separate account and used for additional work on the student center. Currently, we're paying mortgage, so it covers mortgage payments for the principal and the interest. And this fee was actually first approved by students in a referendum and modified by students at a general meeting. This fee can increase with inflation, but as I stated before, the max is $40 for full-time students and $24 for part-time students. Yeah. And that is all we have. Sorry, I missed the question. The last question is, someone would like to see the expansion of the student services fee. The student services fee is on MOU side. I'm currently working on we currently approved for a definition change of the student services fee. So right now, I can't give you an accurate answer regarding that. If you'd like to email me, I can give you updates on how it's changing. But off the top of my head, they are now including international education, and which includes a service, it's called a student services definition change, and basically some of the money allocated to certain services will be transitioned to other services and will be spread out more based on the definition change. That is all I have for the student services definition change. Do we have any other questions? Set the time for questions. There's a mic over there, and we'll give a few minutes if people want to ask us any questions regarding our role and our job, then we will let that happen. Before we do that, actually, Tara wants to talk a little bit about Get Out the Vote and what she's doing.
Absolutely. So sorry I didn't touch on this more earlier on. So for our Get Out the Vote campaign, we're a nonpartisan institution. So what we're going to be focusing on for our Get Out the Vote campaign is to make sure that students are informed of each party, each platform, and what that directly means for students, whether or not it affects your tuition, your housing, if you happen to live in a rural area, how that will affect your families. We are just going to really break down all of this information. What we found is politicians like to make a lot of things sound pretentious, potentially as a way to kind of be away from the public and not have the public fully informed, is a critical view of it anyways. Am I not? Yeah, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a lot of information campaigns, making sure that you know exactly what party is standing for what and how that's going to affect you at the end of the day. We will also be having events on campus. We will be doing a Pledge to Vote campaign where we do a lot of events. It's going to be really fun. We're thinking of having a kind of carnival event, and then you just pledge to vote. You give us your name, your email, your postal code, and then we text you on the day of the election to let you know where you can go to fill out your ballot.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. And now we'll leave the time for questions. So if anyone has any questions, please come up, and we will do our best to answer them. We'll give a few minutes.
I'm gonna go pull it.
All right, guys, last call for questions. Does anybody have any questions for your rec team about advocacy, about things that are happening at MRU, anything you're unhappy with or things you are happy with? There is a mic at the front. Please come. Any questions? Come on.
Sounds good. If you folks have any questions later, then we can just email us at representation@sambu.ca. That's a wrap. Thank you very much for coming and for attending online.